Alrighty. Let's dive in. Young Sam Elliott here. Let's finish him off. We've got a small window. I think we're close to done. I'm not really seeing too much left to do. Whoop. I don't need to bring up my email stuff on screen. I think it's safe where it is. Let's see here. Can I just shrink that? Yeah, that wasn't too cringe. Okay, that worked. You saw nothing, okay? This is just precious emails. Alright. Dig this stuff up. So I'm still gonna do this terribly. It's working okay. Reference. Reference for you. All right. Put this up here where I can see it. And yeah, it's not like I have to finish it today, but, you know, we don't... Does it need 1,000 years, you know? Just squint at it, see what it needs. I dare say he might be a little too heavy on top, some of that hair. Yeah, I might have overdone it with some of his hair. I'm gonna prune some of that back. It's like, does that make it a better image? I'm not necessarily certain it does. But it's sort of our meditative exercise of attempting to faithfully reproduce what we see, like honoring our references, right? Let's find the tool that we were using. One of my favorite brushes, and setting it to dissolve mode here gives it this textury kind of thing. And we're not trying to haloize him. It's funny what that's doing. But the proportion of his face in relation to the hair is different. Yeah, he doesn't have worlds of hair over here. He's just got a bunch. Yeah. Probably something like this, looking a little bit more realistic. Taking away some of that Bee Gees hair. This will be a quick stream. Maybe a little bit more than half an hour. I have a meeting at 10:45, so by then I must be done. Will we be done with the piece by then? That's tough to say. Maybe. Maybe not. Too much, not enough. Too much, not enough. This giant cowlick section being well out of proportion is definitely throwing me. There's a kind of sense in which I wonder if feeling the amount of volume, but not having that rendered yet, is contributing to me feeling like there needs to be a sense of biggerness in certain areas. But making things bigger with width and height is not the same thing as making things seem bigger with Z depth, right? Like, clearly he has a lot of hair. Therefore, do we make hair tall and wide? Not necessarily. Maybe we Z it out, right? Make it more clearly coming and going in space, away and towards camera, by controlling contrast and how the light is wrapping around the hair. Might have given him too much of a haircut, but I think this is getting closer to sort of me seeing what needed to happen. It's not like there was any error in what I had done before. Nothing you could point to and being like, well, that is bad objectively or something like that. It's just sort of like, we can learn so much from references if we really try to honor them, really try to see what is making them resonate with us. Let's flop the image. Get some more fresh eyes on it. You know, something I'm seeing that I didn't quite see before. There's this wonderful... I say it's wonderful. Hear me out. There's this wonderful swoop that's sort of happening in the reference, and I haven't quite locked it here in my art. And I want to try and do that. So after that, it kind of just does this big thing. You get like a cap. Gets high. And then, yes, there's a big cowlick here, but it's not... The cowlick part doesn't go that high. It's just the back of the... It's the hair on the back of the head that we start to see. We really need to feel that happening. This fun, where is it? Crest or Magnus. Let's put this on dissolve, and then that should be the right brush. This brush is like the previous one I was using, but instead of a wedge shape, it's like it's got gradient tapering out on both ends laterally. So it can make a stroke like that, but that's obviously too. It's a little bit more like it. I know I undo and redo everything, but I'm very sensitive to the line that I want to make and the line that I do make. And the differences between them. And I'm usually pretty certain that I can get the line that I want or close to it after a couple tries. So that's why I just keep going, keep trying. It's still too early to be putting in individual hairs like that, so I don't know why I'm doing that, but maybe that was a little anxiety. And these highlights here are some of the brightest brights in the piece. The more I look at it, the more I see that there is to do. Or it's like the closer it feels like we must be approaching the finish, and yet now I no longer have that confidence. We'll see. Maybe I can somehow encounter a miracle that gets it done, but ooh, let's not forget to save. bringing the darkness to the shadow side of his head. And his hair here is definitely helping me feel closer. I feel like I might have gone too dark too early with those eyebrows a bit. Not like it's an irreversible tragedy or anything like that, but note to self. And it's like these stages, everything feels like it affects everything else. You can really start to analyze and see, oh, the shape of the opening of the nostril needs adjusting. There's a difference that I couldn't see before. But now it's like all that I can see. Wow, and you try to like adjust one thing just a little bit and so much crazy stuff seems to get affected by it. There's a tiny, tiny bit of white or highlight right here that I want to make sure it gets represented. All sorts of little things now. Hey Danny, good morning. I'm just doing a quick stream. I've got about maybe half an hour before I have to hop, but I'm just gonna try and make some more progress on this. I think it's looking good. It just needs more. Not sure what my definition of minimum standard of doneness is, but projects like this one help me determine that, I think. Quick stream, yeah, so I won't get too ahead of myself because there's a possibility I get slammed with anything later in the day, but it's also possible that today could be a day of lightness, and you know, we'll see. How are you doing, bud? Good, good to hear. I was just saying this, and I think you can probably relate, but you can look at a piece and be like, yes, it's looking good. It needs only a little bit more work. And then doing that little bit more work pulls the cover back on other much larger amounts of work that you didn't know still needed to get done, and all of a sudden make themselves really apparent. Tell me about it. Yeah. I was looking at this at the open of the stream, and I was like, oh, it seems to be hitting right. We must be close. And of course, no, we are not as close as I thought. Now we're getting closer. A little bit more by a little bit more. Closeness. Closeness is getting closer. But it's definitely still not in my grasp. Dude, what's up? Welcome. I like that large booty elf girl that you drew. That was pretty cool. I would happily yeah, that's the kind of stuff where I'd be like, yep, Lude taught him everything he knows. At least all the credit goes to me, therefore. Whoa, come on. Lou does like one naked girl Zelda drawing, and forever is stamped as the perv who drew the it's like the curse of being forever known as the person who did the drawing of such and such. It's like infamy, but not for what you wanted. It's like my fate was like I'll become famous, but it'll be for like some sort of drawing that I did as a lark and like in no way reflects my true feelings or interests, you know. And at this stage of the drawing, it's like I'm moving tiny grains of sand. I used to make fun of artists that did this. They were like pixel tweezers. And that's what it feels like. I don't know why I'm doing this. It feels like I'm tweezing pixels. But that was the advantage I had working in storyboards, where nothing had to be dead on or anything like that. I wasn't paid to do that work. That was someone else's job, making sure things were on model or whatever, you know. Something about the nostrils being more defined feels like it's throwing off everything on the face. But it's all probably in too much shadow. I did nothing but adjust the nostrils, and now it feels like everything is off. It's like, great stream, Max. You've spent 45 minutes zoomed up Sam Elliott's nostrils. And now the drawing looks worse. Worse for all your efforts. Aren't you the artist that went viral for obsessing over Sam Elliott's nostrils? Save me. And this sort of thing, it's like, yes, accurate drawings are hard to do, and it's impressive when they're pulled off. But if it takes you like forever to do them after trying every other kind of permutation that you could possibly think of, and arriving at the correct answer only at the end of already having tried everything else, is that impressive? I don't know. I don't think so. You know, so we must do better. But for now, like, that's the road we're on, is getting there. And right now we can just be honest. Listen, I'm not a perfect artist. At least with this stuff, not yet. A little bit of trial and error is still good. What are these things? Oh yeah, he'll gain infamy as the nostril guy. Just like, I just love the way you draw nostrils. Said no one ever, right? And this is why I'm doing all this now, as opposed to like in like 10 years from now, where I'm so supposedly planning to be world famous for like knowing how to do this stuff, I'll always remember back to that one stream, you know, from all the benefit of a breadth of experience. And I'll remember this one stream where, now Max, before you go about trying to get every last detail perfect, remember that one stream where you spent 45 minutes trying to capture the light on the inside of Sam Elliott's nostrils and lost 20 followers. Boy, what happened here? There's like an edge I didn't mean to create there. Jesus. Get it all this way, only to prefer how it looked before I even started. No, but that's fun too. Watching me fuck up has to be fun too. Oh, your new post is getting likes? I'm glad to hear that, Danny. One thing I learned from the Jennifer Connelly render was how arduous and painful getting from 90% there to 99%. Like, even just put 100% away. Like, perfection is not the goal. But the distance between, like, it can take like no time at all to get to like 50%, and then like from that to like 75%, it's probably, you know, the same amount of time again. But man, that last, it's like climbing Mount Everest. Like, anybody can get to base camp, you know. It's like getting up to the top. That's where people die. That's where the real problems are. I feel like I probably went way too early with these the whites in his eyes. Yeah, let's throw everything off. Feeling a little bit more reasonable. I feel like there needs to be A little bit of... This whole side of his head just feels like it needs to get a little bit shaved down. Yeah. And all of it just seems to just disappear into the blackness. In about 10 more minutes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the key to art, looking at something and going, Oh, he's so wise. He must really know what he's doing. At this point in my struggle on this piece, it probably doesn't do any flattery to him, but I should point out, because it isn't always obvious, that I learned a lot from Nathan Fowlkes's famous portrait drawing courses, which I took over a decade ago, when stuff like that was kind of new. Learning online and the newness of it, sort of like a novel thing. People are starting to put those art courses online, and he had and still has the best of those courses. His portrait drawing course, and it's nothing but the fundamentals of portrait drawing. It's nothing you wouldn't normally expect to see. It's not like, oh, here's the real secret or whatever. The real secret is hard work and the practice and all that stuff, the stuff everybody skips. And the secret to Nathan Fowlkes's success, it turns out, is tons and tons of sacrifice and hard work. All the unsexy stuff. The line, the list of courses ready to sell you the shortcut are infinite, endless. But the treasure is in the digging. You must get in there. It's all feeling like it's starting to happen now. It's actually happening with this portrait. It's starting to actually look like I might have done the right thing. Ah. Dear God, I wasn't even sure about this for a while. Save it one more time. Now, I'm going to put this on a different layer because I keep messing this up. And this is also a useful... So, do you guys see how white his eyes are in the photo? I'm going to venture out and just sort of say it's unlikely that his eyes were actually that white, like optically, like visibly in that moment. More likely, perhaps, is they were retouched a bit. I think that's likely. So his eyes there, let's come back to those later as like a finishing detail. Let me see if I can get some more rendering on this this lovely stash, this epic stash. Because there are some things here that need more love. Just really, his mustache is like a don't think of it as that like 1,000 different hairs, right? It's almost like a roll of pennies or something, right? Like and a roll of pennies is actually what? Well, it's a cylinder, right? It's got some striation in it or whatever, but it's really just a cylinder. So it's gonna have, you know, a form. We're gonna see the wrapping and the turning of the form. We're expecting it, and so we have to see it. If we see it, it's good. It's good that we see it, but we need to see something that is approximating that. Yes? So got that, and then let's try a little highlight. That's a little too much, but you see what I mean. Here, let's make a smaller brush. That's too small. A little too even. That's pretty close. All right, let's do one more save. Let's do one more save, and then I'll just pick apart some details and ride that out to the end of the stream. All right, we're moving away from the nostrils. We're getting into the stash here. Just really quickly, let me... For whatever reason, this like really dark part seems to just be super critical to seeing the composition accurately. Things will look off if like other parts if like how they're supposed to relate in other parts of the image aren't quite working yet, seemingly unrelated areas will look like they have the wrong values. And you'll add shadows in one area and it'll become more accurate, but you'll steal a sense of relative brightness and darkness from another area without even realizing it. Throw things off and you won't know even what happened. Kind of like the he's got these manly textures of just wrinkle. It just looks like he's always chewing tobacco. Just like what this guy permanently has this look. It's totally fine to put in a few hairs every once in a while. That's texture. That's good. But if you put in every single damn hair, that can give the wrong effect. Your imagination is going to be more important or more powerful than your rendering ability. Or sorry, the viewer's imagination is ultimately going to help pull this across the finish line. We don't have the time in our short lifespans to make it worth detailing every single damn drawing to ultimate perfection. It probably wouldn't look good even if we did have time. There's this lovely sense of perspective even that's happening. It's curving this way over here and curving this way over here. Oh, I got 5 minutes before the meeting. Let me check my email, make sure the meeting didn't get shifted, because that happens a lot. It's looking decent, though. Quick save, checking email, updated invitation. All right, guys, guess what? Meeting has been shifted to 11:30, so we have time to work on this more. Might as well see if we can. What if we got this finished today? We have something postable. That would be cool. It's starting to look, finding a lot less to fault with the piece, that's for sure. The immenseness of this mustache is just impossible. That felt like the right move, like that. Tells everybody not to draw every single hair, proceeds to draw every single hair. Hmm. Let's get in here. I see some areas we can define more. I really do want to feel this squint happening. Is it eyelash time? Should we be worried about eyelashes? It's like it's always too early to be drawing eyelashes, but maybe not. Something. As I go, I just keep having to nudge these little eyeballs over just a little bit more. Let's definitely make this a little darker. This a little brighter. There's some sort of unidentifiable bit of brightness right there. The slightest tonal changes are happening in these like little bags under his eyes. But it makes a difference. I can't ignore them. Now, it's like you see them and you can't ignore them. Start seeing too much from these types of assignments, these it's like it's not worth the sacrifice to have your eyes open to what you cannot unsee. All of a sudden, nothing's good enough. What was once easy is now hard. All right. Got to do it anyway. Definitely starting to really have that sense of life, though. It's definitely not good anymore with the it's not bad, but it will do something else with what's happening in that arm. gonna erase the bottom part of that whitening. We're losing some of that the roundness of the eyeball. All right, this is just a bit of a vibe check. Can we get away with some extremely bright? It's so bright. It's so insanely bright. No. Let's make them about that bright. Make sure there's some texture. Yeah. Starting to slap. Liking this. What I don't like is the computer here giving all these sharp definition to my wrinkles. Is that slightly better? Where's the young, make me look young button on these aren't these computers supposed to have filters? Starting to look goated. I think can bring back some of this. Yeah. Sort of do it intelligently. For a reason, this is a really sharp edge right there. Maybe we like that. And that looks pretty sharp too. I think we're definitely entering the sort of territory where, like, whatever it is that we're doing might not even be appreciable to a viewer. Definitely understandable. But we have half an hour. Might as well just keep going. These wrinkles are definitely a little bit of a moral hazard. You know, you never want to overemphasize a flaw. But here, they can show so much character. Soften some of this stuff up. I think I might flip it again in a minute. You tend to see more, just reveals other stuff. When you keep everything in the same position, your brain is just attenuated to it. You can't even see objectively, even with rulers and stuff. It's such a funny universal thing. Like, in science, they're keenly aware of the effect of like unconscious bias on lab results and stuff. It's like they know that it needs to be strategized on how to eliminate that bias so that you can really be certain that what you're learning is what you're learning, right? Even with all of the knowledge of the trap of bias and the dangers of it and almost the inevitability of it, so that they know they must avoid it, so they plan to get around it, and they plan to eliminate it before it can even happen, and it still happens. Creeps into everything, even if you know it's coming. It's like a trap you can't avoid. All you can do is hope to minimize it. Mm-hmm. Definitely starting to get there. It is practically there already now, though. Watch me say that. I'll flop it and see a bunch of freaking mistakes everywhere. All right, let's do it. Flip. Something I hadn't quite realized, and I need to make sure I'm not I'm not ignoring what needs to be paid attention to here, but the there's a certain amount of Christian Bale lookalikeness happening in mine. And yeah, that's not something. I'm seeing it somewhere. Certainly looking good, but I don't know if I think it needs more time. More strokes of genius. This is like Sam Elliott's expression when he's looking at me. He's like, "You done yet?" My daughter will literally shoot me an expression like this when I make a joke. It's just sort of like the ego deflating look of like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Definitely now seeing something happening. There's a certain intersection of hair that needs to be built up here. Yep. Yes. Yes. This stuff can be forgiving up to a point, but it will start to break if it's not these tree branches, like the compositional tree branches that hand off to each other, they have to be there in the right place at the right time. And if they're not, the things don't link up the way they should. of this track. Oh, what happened there? Yeesh. There. Thought I'm getting slacked something. Let's see what it says. All right, nothing important. Oh, that feels nice right there. These like little curls that I just added. It's adding so much to the to how it's all working. That's good. All right, eyelash time. Back to making the nostrils super important. When I post this, I fully expect someone to be like, yeah, the nostrils are a little off, but otherwise pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good attempt. Oh, it's a good start, Max, but shame about the nostrils. You almost got it. You almost got it nailed in. You know you're really noodling when you get to the Adam's apple details and stuff. But you know, he's a manly man. We got to make sure we've got all these requisite details. I'm definitely liking this. Something that's interesting. So we actually don't know how this will fully look yet, even though everything starting to feel like it's in the right place. You know, obviously we have a good likeness. We've got pretty much, I'll say, a very passable degree of accuracy. And here's a quick test. Can I? What's it called? The navigator. Can I make this look big over here? Sort of interesting. That's an interesting look here. So what's interesting about rendering with the brush set to dissolve is that the information is all pixels. It really is. It's kind of makes it a mathematical puzzle for the computer to sort of figure out. It ends up being like a lot of information. And you can see here that depending on the rendering engine, it'll sort of spit out something that isn't necessary. Oh, here, you can't see that. That will... Everything's basically where it's supposed to be, but it isn't... This is just the preview window that Painter uses, but this could look somewhat different in Photoshop or whatever. Once it's rendered out to like a compression format like JPEG, we could have some unexpected results, sort of. So I could be shooting myself in the foot with it the entire time, but I do like how this looks. So it just ends up having like a charcoal effect, which is pretty much what I wanted. Let's see here. Let me check my email one more time, make sure a new thing hasn't come in. All right. Well, looks like we've got yeah, 11:30 is still on, so let's go another 2 or 3 minutes and then call it a stream. Maybe we could use a little bit more over here. And then where else? With these dissolve brushes, everything is essentially just rendered as pixels. Obviously everything is rendered with pixels, but like it almost just ends up looking like sand. I don't want him to look too holy, like he's glowing, so let's back off on some of that. I think I just don't want him to look cut out where I don't want him to look cut out. So we can control what and where things are getting contrasted and by how much by bringing in some of this compositional shading. Forgot about this rushed bit of hair at the top of his head. It sucks because I wanted this to be done right now, but then I'm realizing, oh, am I rushing this one part? Didn't really even bother me. Is that, maybe that's okay. Honor my feelings that, you know, some stuff is okay to leave a little ambiguous, you know? All right, I pretty much gotta go. Quick save. Well, I might be calling it done. Might not be. Might be premature. Might not be. Might be goated. Might not be. We'll see. All right. We'll leave it there. Do a little 50-50. God, what the fuck is up with the light here? Alright. Till next time. Adios.